Hello, we're live. Let's see who can get on. It notifies anybody. Hello, welcome. Michelle here of Two Brothers Blankets. Happy Wednesday. I'm a bit chilly. It's actually kind of cool here in Florida. We're having a little cold front come through. So I'm kind of like, ooh, got the chills. Hello, Karen. How are you? Hi, Kim. I'm going to sit and crochet for a minute while everybody gets logged on. What are you guys up to today? Are you crocheting or doing other things? I haven't done much crocheting, just a little bit. Today, doing some other computer stuff. Usually I designate Wednesday for like computer stuff. So that, since I'm already over here, and so I get a lot of computer stuff done in the mornings, and then I go live in the afternoon. And then if I have time, I will do some crocheting. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome. So today we're going to talk about pattern testing. And I compiled a list of 5 each do's and don'ts of pattern testing. I've been designing for 5 years now, I think, and before that I did some pattern testing myself. So I kind of have experienced some things that I would say are not so great when it comes to pattern testing, and some things that I think are amazing qualities of a pattern tester. So I just want to share them, and I want to know what yours are. And then I think we'll do, if you want, we'll do like a 5-minute Q&A if you guys have any questions about pattern testing. And I'll just answer a few questions. And then, yeah, and then there's a blog post coming for it too. It's almost ready. So, yay. Hi, Steph. I'm here to learn what I shouldn't be doing. LOL, I'm supposed to be auditing financials right now. Oh, you're a good tester. Yeah, there's nothing you shouldn't be doing. You do all the right things. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Judy. Snowy Idaho. No, thank you. I'm cold. It's pretty chilly here. It was like 42 this morning, 44. And that's cold for here. So it's warmed up some, but the house is still got that chill to it. No fun. Getting texts and stuff. Sorry if it buzzes on y'all. Okay, so now that we've got a good number on. Hello, hi Marty. We've got a few on Instagram. I can't say all the names on Instagram. I'm the worst about usernames. Alright, let me put my yarn up. So I wrote down, we're going to talk about pattern testing. I wrote down 5 things each that I, just through personal experience and opinion, think that are some do's and some don'ts of pattern testing. Steph says it's negative 27 here. Oh, I just can't. I can't, like, I complain about the heat here, but the cold is just, ugh. I can't imagine. Like, I don't know. I've never experienced it that cold ever, because I lived in Georgia before here. So we lived in New York when I was a kid, but I don't remember much of that. I do remember snow. I remember walking to school in the snow, but I don't know. So I wouldn't know what to do with that kind of weather. All right, so let's get right into this, because I want to be able to have time to answer a few questions if there's questions. And I have an appointment at 2 just to get my nails done, but still. So I'm going to have to, it's just up the road, but I need to give myself enough time to get up there. So let's go ahead and dive in. So pattern testing is like crucial to me. I cannot not have my patterns tested. I make so many mistakes. Mostly typos, mostly like just written things that I typed up wrong or whatever. But there's the occasional math error, and it's a lot less than it used to be. I used to make all kind of mistakes when I was first starting out. And it was, sometimes it's math error, sometimes it's like written error, workup error, or the way it fits or whatever. But like, it's a must. Like, I learned that really early on, which I always have had my patterns tested. I've never done a pattern without having it tested in some way. And it's just a must for me. I know not all designers do pattern testing. I know some only use tech editors, which is good. Sometimes I use both because it's just, I'm that bad. I make so many mistakes. And I've just learned that I need pattern testers. And I have, over the years, it's been 5 years now, I've developed a great group of women that will test my patterns, that are very often available, very often reliable, very often, you know, just very like loyal, dedicated, committed testers that I have been able to get together in a group, and they're like my people. Like, they're my friends now. Like, I consider them friends. There have been some that have come and gone. There's some that have gone on not so great terms, and there's some that have gone on just too busy or life situations and stuff like that. But for the most part, a lot of them have been with me for like the majority of my designing journey. So it's been good. I've got really, really great group. Every now and then, like this morning, I had to ask for some testers in this group for a few sizes. Every now and then I run into not having enough, but that's very rare because I've gotten such a great group of testers that are in there, and they're very willing to help and test, and yeah, so I've been through it all. Like, I've experienced good things, I've experienced bad things, and these are just my opinions and what I think are important qualities or not so good qualities if you want to test patterns. So let's start with the do's. I have 5 things. Complete your test in a timely manner, meaning complete your test before the due date. It's that easy. Almost, I don't know any designers that don't give some sort of due date for their tests. I try to give my testers 2 weeks, always. Unless it's something very small, I'll do a week, like a hat, I'll do a week. But any kind of garment, scarf, pretty much, I think I do a week. 2 weeks. And so I will give them the due date when I ask for testers so that they know the due date. And I expect it done by the due date. It doesn't always happen. Life happens. Totally understand that. Things come up. I've had things come up. You know, I've had a design plan to release on a certain day, and things have come up. And so I understand. That's totally understandable. But when you go to commit to a test, if you have anything that could possibly keep you from finishing that test by the due date, maybe not the one to volunteer for. So that's number 1. If you complete it in a timely manner, complete it on or before the due date, you're doing good. So that's my first one. The second one is to treat it as a job, or at least like a commitment. You're not getting paid in most circumstances, but you are getting a free pattern out of it. I do a free pattern. I do the pattern that they test, and I let my testers choose a free pattern. So they get 2 free patterns out of it, basically. But even if the designer only just lets you have that pattern, that's a free pattern. Treat it as a commitment. Treat it seriously. Take it seriously. And do your best. And do your best to finish it in time. And do your best to take good pictures. And it's a commitment. It's not something that's just like, for you, it may just be a free pattern, getting a free pattern out of it or whatnot. But for the designer, it's it's part of the process of publishing a design. So it's a business thing. Having those patterns tested is part of my business, and I have to treat it that way. I treat it very seriously. So if you're testing, just treat it as a commitment. Treat it as a job you would be given in any other career, form of career, you know, something that is just treat it with some importance, and as you would any other job, I guess you could say. Number 3, this is a huge one. Huge. Communicate with the designer. That simple. And that doesn't mean, this is not, like, I don't want this to sound mean, but, like, drive the designer crazy with a million little, like, every little thing that you find wrong, or every little question, like, a million questions, or, no, don't do that. For, like, if you're running late on a test and you're not sure if you're going to be done, let the designer know. If there's a workup error, like, this will not work the way it is written, let the designer know. If it's a capital C and it should not be a capital, you don't have to let the designer know right away. You can write that in your feedback. Stuff like that, like little tiny things, don't worry about. But, like, anything that's going to alter the way the pattern works up, or you finishing the design, or the project, and, like, just communicate it. Don't disappear. Don't ghost them. Isn't that the new saying? And that's one of my don'ts. Like, communicate with the designer when necessary, I guess I should add. Like, don't drive the designer crazy, but communicate when necessary. I do my tests in a Facebook event, and I'm like, just tag me. Everybody, I make all the testers join it, and I'm like, tag me if I need to. Sometimes they will post in the group, like, a typo or an error, and if they know it's a typo, like, a lot of them have gotten to know my writing and style, and that I do make a lot of typos, so they'll say, this is a typo, not necessarily for me to see, but for the other testers to see. And if it's important for me to see, they'll tag me. So I get notified of all the posts regardless. But if it's something that I need to see, or they need me to fix or figure out or change, they will tag me. So that way I'm not getting, like, a bunch of different messages all the time. So, but if it's like something like you might not finish by the due date, or you might not get pictures by the due date, or something like that, send them a direct message and just communicate. Let them know. If you guys think of any questions while I'm talking, let me know, and I'll scroll through and answer any questions at the end. Number 4 is take good pictures. So we don't expect you, as designers, we don't expect you to be like, to have a professional photographer take your pictures for a test, unless that's already something that's been, like, discussed ahead of time. But don't take pictures in front of your kids' playroom with all the toys scattered everywhere in the dark hallway with no natural light. Like, don't do it. And I've seen it before, and, like, my testers know, like, they've figured out now, like, they can send me a progress photo and it be a crappy photo. Like, I don't care about that, but, like, your finished photos, because I have my testers, I don't know how other designers do it, but I have my testers put their pictures on Ravelry in their projects, so that other people who are interested in purchasing that pattern can see other people's work besides just mine. So I like for my testers to have good pictures that are easy to see the design, and nice looking. So on Ravelry it doesn't look, so that it looks nice. So my suggestions for pattern testing photos, if you are taking a picture of a design, if you can at all possible, do it outside. Outside is the absolute best. And even now, like, we're trying to do, like, some indoor photography for my designs because it is so dang hot here all the time, and, like, crocheted sweaters in 85-degree Florida weather just sucks. Trying to take pictures of it. So we're like delving into, me and my husband, indoor photography. We've got lighting and backdrops and all this, and I still don't like it as much as I like outdoor photos. Like, we've got it figured out pretty much, like brightness and all that, and I still don't like it as much. Outdoor photos are much nicer. Like, it doesn't even have to be anything like gorgeous. It can be on your phone, but outdoor you get that natural light. It looks nice, all that. So if you can do it outside, do it outside. If you cannot do it outside, if it's negative 27, like Steph said, and it's just way too cold, or it's dark, or it's rainy, or whatever, stand in front of a window and have the, don't stand in front of a window, stand facing a window. So, so this window, I would stand here and take a picture from the, like the window of me. So the natural sunlight is coming in on me. And that way, it's at least got that natural lighting. If you have big old lights, like I have big old, you can't see it on Instagram, but I have big old umbrella lights that I use for like stuff like this and for my pictures and stuff. Those are good too. Those are helpful, but those are not necessary by any means. But just do it facing a window. Don't have a bunch of clutter in the background. If you can do it in front of a blank wall, that'd be great, Just take good pictures. Take good pictures. If you're doing a garment and it says model for, like I always put, you need a model for fit check and photos. Take it wearing the garment. Just little things like that. It's just good qualities. It helps the designer. It helps the designer see the fit. It helps the designer see the picture. Like, if it's a good picture, it's helpful to the designer, and it's good for sharing and all that. So if you're looking to like test to network and build your whatever, if you're a crocheter or whatnot and you're trying to build a Etsy shop or whatnot, if you want to be shared, you're gonna have to take good pictures. So yeah, that is number 4. And then number 5 is one that just it's a pet peeve of mine. It kind of bugs me when this happens, and so I wanted to definitely mention it. Work up the pattern exactly as it is written. Don't change the pattern. At least not without talking to the designer. If there is a workup error, if it's not going to work as written, tell the designer. And the designer will let you know how to make changes or where to go from there. Don't just change the pattern and finish it and then send your feedback, and say, I did this instead of this. That is so frustrating as a designer, because the whole point of testing is to make sure that that pattern as written works. Not how you think it will work, not what you think will be better, that written pattern. That's the whole point. So if there is an issue, or if there is a suggestion you have, you can contact the designer and ask them, or say, this is not working, it does not fit, or whatever. But don't just change it. Don't make it short sleeves if it's a long sleeve sweater without asking. I know, if you talk to the designer, that's different. I'm saying just doing it. Don't do it. It's so irritating when people change the design. And then, and the worst is when they completely change it, or they do the short sleeve, or they make it smaller than it is, or bigger than it is, or whatever, and they don't tell you until you get their feedback. So you're like, okay, so this size has not been tested properly. Now what? You know what I mean? So it's so frustrating. So don't change anything without asking the designer first. Steph says, talking about taking pictures for an Etsy shop. You can get light boxes on Amazon for a reasonable price. Have you used one, and do you recommend them for times when you can't get good pictures outside? So I don't use light boxes. I don't think I ever have. I think I got one at the very beginning when I was just doing Etsy. Like, I was selling finished items, and I did not love it. I'm looking outside because I'm thinking. Instead, I will say this. Like, see, I have this big window here. You can take a white poster board and stick it on a table like that by a window, or open your door, your front door, if you have like a screen door, or even if you don't, like, put it at the base. My dogs are barking at something. So put it where natural light can come in on a white poster board and take a picture of it that way. That's what I would recommend. Or just get like some good lights and overhead, especially if you're doing like overhead. And if you can make your own like white poster board, like have it in the back and the front. I don't know, boxes just seem so, like, I think I had one that was, their top wasn't there, but like and it just seemed so like restricting. I needed more room. So I've never used a light box. I can't say that they're good or not. Like, I know they're good. I know a lot of people use them, but I can't like recommend one. But that's what I do. If I need like a white background, I use white poster board in front of natural light, or with natural light, and just do that. So that's what I do. Right now I've been using for like Instagram pictures, which is about the only thing I need, and like listing photos, but just regular Instagram, I use my little white fuzzy blanket, and I really like it. I don't know, I like the fuzzy of it. So, but yeah, you can use anything like that. You can buy cheap backdrops even. I have some paper backdrops that I've used, for like overhead pictures, but natural light, like, that's the big thing. Natural light and no clutter, like, behind you, because that's, no. And then work out the pattern exactly as written, unless you ask the designer. Okay, so now let's move on to don'ts. Steph says, I'll lay everything in the snow. Hey, that's a white background. Might work. And then with like, Snapseed, the app, oh, my phone's up there, duh. You can like make the white even whiter and like blended looking, so it just looks plain white. You could probably make snow work with that Snapseed app. All right, let's get into the don'ts of pattern testing. 5 don'ts that you should not do if you want to be asked to test again. Honestly. Okay, so, I'm going to mix these up. I have them written in a different order, so it might take me a minute. So the first one is, disappear if you can't complete the test. Do not disappear if you can't complete the test. If something happens, life happens, you get sick, your kids get sick, you got to go on a trip, something happens, don't just disappear. That's stealing the pattern, basically. Don't do it. Don't do it. Talk to the designer. I'm very understanding, and I know most designers are. They're very understanding. I mean, we might get a little irritated. We're not going to let you know, most likely, if we're a nice human being. We might be like, oh, man, now I got to find somebody else, or I got to figure out what to do. But life happens, and we know that. We've had life happen too. So just communicate. Just tell the designer what's going on and let them know. Don't, what did I say the word? Oh, ghost. Don't ghost them. Don't do it. Not cool at all. You're basically taking the pattern and running, and that's not fun. Not fun at all. So don't do that. Number 2. Oh, I talked about this in the do's. Do work up the pattern as exactly as written. Don't change the pattern while testing is number 2. Don't do it. Don't change anything about the pattern without talking to the designer. The whole point of testing is to make sure that pattern works up the way it should, as written. So, unless there's a workup error or whatever, if it is wrong, something, don't do it. And if there is, talk to the designer. That's another thing. Communicate with the designer. Always. Let them know. So number 3 is, kind of goes along with number 2. Don't tear the pattern to pieces in your feedback. I've had this happen, and it is irritating and frustrating and hurtful. Like, don't write all the things you would have done to that design, or all the things that you think are like opinions, not facts, not like this is the wrong number, there's a typo here. Like, I have a spot in my feedback for opinions, and most of the time people are great about it. Like, they'll give me, I think this would work a little bit, you know, one little thing. But I've had people just basically be like, I would change this entire thing, blah, 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 blah. I would do this and this and this instead of this. And why, you know, I don't understand why it's this. They're like, don't do that. That's just not nice. Like, if you don't like the design, why are you testing it? Don't test it. If you don't like it, by seeing a picture of it when the test is called, don't test it. Like, why would you test it if you don't even like it? Oh my gosh, my dad's here. He just texted me. He's visiting, but he's in here. He knows I'm live. Or he's outside. He knows I'm live. But yeah, don't do it. Don't tear it to shreds. If you don't like it, don't test it. If that's your opinion, you know, like, don't just, I would do this instead of this, like, opinions. It's all good if there's mistakes. If there are genuine mistakes that need to be fixed, that's different. But, like, your opinion and your, like, how you would do it better, or you would make it look better, or, like, that's frustrating for a designer, because we are in love with the design, and we, you know, worked hard on that design, and to have someone just tear it to pieces is hurtful. Honestly, it's hurtful. So if you don't like it, don't test it in the first place. And if you find that you don't like it after you've tested it, you don't like her writing style or him, the designer's writing style or whatever, that's fine. But you don't necessarily have to share all that. You know what I mean? Like, you just know now. You know. You don't like their style, or, you know, whatever. So don't be mean. That's just in general, in life, in all things. Don't be mean. Okay, so, okay, the next one is number 4. Don't share the pattern. This should go unsaid, but we have to say it. Don't share the pattern. Don't do it. That is wrong. In my testing group, I mean, I have a like list of guidelines or rules, I guess you could say. And I'm like, you cannot share this pattern with anyone. Period. If you test a pattern, you don't share it. You don't share them anyway, even if you're not testing. But just don't do it. That's a given, right? We all know this, right? Okay. And then the last one kind of goes along with it. Don't share pictures of the pattern or progress photos or anything like that unless the designer says it's okay. My dog's one in now. The designer might not want it shared. She might be keeping it a secret. He or she might be keeping it a secret for a time, for a reason. It might be a commission pattern, and she can't share it. I mean, most of the time he or she, I keep saying she because I'm a she, but he or she will let you know ahead of time. But if they didn't, don't share it without asking. You can ask, can I share progress reports progress photos on Instagram? Is that okay? Most of the time for me, I personally don't mind it if I've already shared the project. If I've already shared the design, I don't mind. If I have not, I don't want anybody else sharing it. I want to be the first one to share it. It's my design. I want to be able to share it first, and then I don't care. So it's totally up to the designer. Some designers don't care. Some designers do. Some designers have reasons not. They can't, you know, it's commissioned work, or it's for big thing months down the line or something. So do not share progress photos of your pattern test unless the designer says it's okay, because that is a big no-no. Like, just don't do it. It's not cool. So basically, all in all, like overall, the overall theme of this is communicate with the designer. Ask permission. If you're testing a pattern, treat it like a job. Ask permission before you do anything. Ask permission before you share anything. Be respectful of that designer. That's all there is to it. And if you do these things and you don't do the bad things, you will most likely get asked to test again. Or if you volunteer, get chosen to test again. If you do not, you're not going to get chosen to test again. I promise you that. I promise you that. And if you run off with a pattern and don't communicate with the designer that you're not going to be able to finish it, and you just run off with it, you're basically stealing the pattern. And you're never going to get asked by that designer. And us designers, we talk. So you're not going to get asked by other designers too. I mean, in some cases, I don't like, we don't have a blacklist, or, I mean, not in, I've seen them, there are blacklists, but I don't have a blacklist, but we just communicate, hey, this person, if we see, you know, that you're volunteering to test somebody else's pattern, we're going to go to that designer, and we're going to be like, hey, this person ran off of my pattern. So, yeah. Rebecca says, nice shawl you got there. Right? It's cool enough to wear it today here in Florida, so I'm going to wear it all day. I'm excited. This is my cherry blossom. Lucy, hush! My cherry blossom cowl, not cowl, shawl. I'm wearing it as a cowl, but that comes out Friday. Free pattern. Yay, I'm so excited. Okay, so I can't say these names. How do you feel about substituting the yarn? Some designers don't let you substitute, and the yarn is either expensive or can't find it anywhere. Most of the time, I am totally fine with pattern designers substituting the yarn. Sorry about the dogs, y'all. I will let them know. My testers, I will let them know if I need them to use a specific yarn or a specific, like, most of the time I want you to use the exact weight. They hear my dad, that's why they're barking. Sorry, guys. I don't want you to use a different weight. I want you to use the exact weight. Unless, like right now, I'm doing the springtime sweater, and one of my testers is going to use Brava Sport. And it's basically the same, like, thickness as the Sweet Delights, which is technically a 3. So stuff like that, but they will talk to me about it first. So I usually don't mind, but always check with the designer first. Marilyn says, so many of these should be obvious, but I fully understand the need to specify. It's all about respect. Yes, it is. Brandy says, when you test, agreed. You should always ask the designer their permission before doing anything with their patterns. Yes, definitely. Francis, it all boils down to respect. Deb says, how do you apply to be a tester? So it's different for other designers. Kim, I think there is a blacklist. There used to be. Back a couple years ago, there was a blacklist of testers not to. I can't remember what group it was in or what group of designers it was, but there was a blacklist. Deb, but back to your question. Each tester is different. I mean, each designer has different. I know some designers have like a form on their website. Some designers will ask for testers on Instagram, if that's like their main form of social media, their main platform. They'll ask on. I personally have my own group that I stick with for the most part. If I need them, like I did today, I will ask in this group, Two Brothers Blankets Crochet Community. I will ask in this group, and then if I pick you to test for me, I will usually ask for what size you want to do, if you have any pattern testing experience, and your Ravelry projects list. So add those projects to Ravelry, because that's how I like to look at people's projects to see if they're if I think they could do a good job on my testing. So, but I will ask in this group, and then if I ask you to test, you'll be invited to the event that I have. I do an event for each test. If you do a good job, if you do it in a timely manner, you have really good photos, and you have good feedback, like your feedback is thorough and correct and all that, I will invite you to be in my exclusive tester group. So Yeah, that's how I do it. But testers do it all. Some designers get a new batch of testers every single test, every single design. Like, and they'll pick them from their website, or like there's a form on their website, or they find them on Instagram or whatever. Other people, like I have a group, and I know other designers that have a group of people that it's my exclusive testing group, and I only ask for testers now when I don't have enough from that group. So yeah, Steph says my dog is barking and looking for your dog. Sorry, I'm sorry. They're so obnoxious. It's like if they're in here and I get on live, they start whining at me because I'm talking, and then if I put them out, they want in before I'm done. So whatever. All right, any other questions about testing? I'm going to write a blog post. I'm almost done writing. She is the worst. Lucy, no. No. It's a glass door. She can hear me. I've almost done with the blog post, so that'll be up probably tonight or first thing tomorrow. And then this will be up Friday. The cowl. Or, I keep calling it a cowl. The shawl. The cherry blossom shawl. And then I'll be live next week. Don't know the topic yet, but I'll let you know what the topic will be. If you ever have any topic ideas, let me know. I will be glad to add them to my list. I have a big list of running ideas. So, Brandy says, Michelle is an amazing designer to test for. Thank you. Debbie says, do you know when you will choose testers for that one you posted this morning? Probably this afternoon. I have an appointment at 2, and then I'll probably come home and do it and send off patterns. So, this afternoon, most likely. So, all right, I'm going to run, let these dogs in, and let my dad in. I hope you guys have a good day. If you think of any other questions about testing or do's and don'ts or whatever, let me know. Feel free to tag me or DM me or whatever. So, you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you next week.